fun. Okay, everybody, now we just took this salmon out of the brine. Remember, it was out there, and the way we did it, it stayed frozen longer than we really wanted, but so we just kept it out there longer, and we just brought these good pieces in. Travis, could you explain again real quick the difference between what's brined really well and what will be, you know, the difference?
Okay, the salt firms up the meat, which allows it to take the smoke better and not just fall apart in the smoker. So it's been sitting in that salt water, sucking up salt, firming up the meat. And now we're gonna put it in cold water, and you don't want to run the water directly over it. We want to take the excess salt off of it though. So we'll put it in this cold water and we'll flush it down. Wipe it down a little bit. Let it set in there for a second. You can put a couple pieces in there if you want.
And you're getting the salt off, yeah. Okay.
See how this meat's coming apart in here?
Yes.
That shows a little bit of abuse on the meat. It shouldn't really do that, but it's because it's set in that ice water so long. We used an ice chest to brine it in, which you should probably just use a bucket or a container. That ice chest kept them frozen. But you want to freeze your fish before you smoke them because it helps it take the smoke.
And all this now is brined good enough?
This is all brined, but you can almost see this spot right here. See how it's a little bit redder than the rest?
Yes.
Had another piece of fish sitting on it in the brine, so that isn't as salty as what the rest of this would be. So we're gonna wipe the salt off these. We're gonna soak them in here for a minute, just in regular cold water. Gonna let that water pull some more, the excess salt off the top. Otherwise your fish will be really salty when you're done.
You're getting the salt off.
So just the excess salt.
Okay.
You can put, like I said, put more than one piece in there. The salt to dissolve off of them. Take that old briny water and dump it down the other thing. Keep that salt out as much as you can.
And you can see again, these are some beautiful salmon steaks. And they took to that brine really well. Now you're rinsing off.
Now, this would be a fillet. A steak is cut the other way. But
oh, there you go. Hey, tell me, correct me. So that's a fillet.
Right. And you don't want to do this. You don't want water running on your meat. You just put water deeper into the meat. And the idea is to get that water out of there. So you don't want to force it in there. So if you're going to run water across them, run water off the skin side to rinse them off nice. But don't run your water directly into the meat because when you spray it, like on a fish cleaning station, it'll liven that meat up. It'll pulverize the front of it, and it won't be as good.
Because that looks beautiful, man.
So you take your
fillets, yep.
Take your fillet from here. And the next thing you want to do, make sure you do, is we'll clean this whole tray off again so all that salt water coming out of the brine is gone, or most of it anyway. It's not 100% science here when Travis does it. So
there you go, look at that. Boom, look at that piece of meat. You're gonna use paper towels.
Paper towel, you want to soak up the extra moisture off of this fish.
Oh, look at that.
And you can see the way it's dulled the color. It was a brighter orange, and now it's more of a dullish orange or pink. And that's the brining action, that's the brine.
But you can tell that has definitely been brined. I mean,
and you can feel it. Feel how much more solid it is. Like it isn't like a piece of raw fish meat.
Oh, yes.
It's more solid.
You could eat it right now if you wanted to.
Yeah, well, sushi, I guess you could eat it. So then you're going to portion this into what you want to smoke it at, right? How your smoker takes fish best. I usually portion them off like this because they're easier to vacuum pack and they'll fit in my vacuum packer, right?
Look at that smooth cut.
But we're going to can this so you wouldn't have to. But being there so thick, and a lot of people with Kings will strip them long ways this way, score them down to the hide, and then open them up so the smoke gets deeper. But we're going to can these fish, so it's a little bit different. So now, what we're going to do is usually I would put a brown sugar brine on these.
Well, we're doing something exotic here today. We've got homemade.
I am going to use a blueberry syrup.
Homemade blueberry syrup.
That we made.
That's a different video coming out next year.
We're just going to
look, sweeten that up. Look at how good that looks.
Sweeten the meat.
Sweet meat.
Just a touch with this blueberry. And usually I'd use a brown syrup. or a brown sugar, and the molasses and the brown sugar, you know, will melt down into this. But we're gonna use this blueberry concoction here.
Something exotic.
Because it isn't quite as sweet as it probably should be, since I'm not a big sugar fan.
Not a fan of sugar.
We'll just take a little extra sugar here.
Again, this is blueberry salmon. It's going to be canned.
Liven that up just a touch.
Look at those homemade blueberries. Well, the blueberries aren't homemade. Nature made those. Came off a bush right here outside of Homer. Look at that. It looks fantastic.
And put it on the rack.
And we come over here and show you. Look, now we sprayed these racks down so they're nice and lubed up.
Put them on the rack, and you want a little space in between them and fill the racks up. And these will smoke for, I'll say, a good 5-6 hours, but never over 140 degrees. You want to keep it cold. You want a little heat in it to start to cook them off a little bit, to help firm up the meat and soak in the sugars a little bit. But we're not looking to cook. We never want it hot enough that it renders the fat out of the fish.
Smoking.
We're cold smoking and then canning them off in the canner.
Okay, in the next video, we're going to show you the process. We're going to take them out to the smoker. We'll show you the smoker and
we'll
show you.
Fill these racks up like this, and then they'll all go in the smoker, and you'll see them, the end product shortly.
Okay.
6 hours from now.
There's that point, and we'll show you the video when we take them out and put them in the smoker. That'll be a shorter video, and then we'll show you the end product. Yum, yum, yum.